following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good whatever, wherever you may be and wherever you might be listening. You are back in the zone, the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and you have stumbled across, or maybe you've deliberately sought out a program called Claire's Corner. Well, if you have, you're in the right spot, and hope you'll hang around for the next 30 minutes or so. This is a program where I talk with all kinds of interesting people about all kinds of interesting things. And today, my guest is none other than my friend, the founder of this here wonderful network, Mr. Ralph Tyko. Hey, Ralph, how goes it?
Hey, Claire. Thank you very much for having me as a guest. It's an honor for me.
Well, for some reason, I don't know, I'm in a mischievous mood today when you said that. I know it's said with all sincerity, but I remember a radio interview I once heard with the actress Marilyn Chambers, and the DJ, sounding a little flustered, said at the end of the interview, said, well, it was nice having you. And in a very sultry, sexy way, Marilyn Chambers said, hey, it's good to be had. So
Marilyn, she was from behind closed doors, if memory serves.
I believe that was her big starring role. At this point, she was actually touring. This was, I believe, the late 70s to promote she was a rocket scientist
after that. She was promoting a cure for cancer, I'm sure.
No. Actually, she had gone sort of mainstream, away from X-rated movies, but she was starring in a sci-fi thriller called Rabid. So that's about all I know about that film, and probably all I want to know.
Easier to swallow for the dear lady.
Well,
I mean,
sir.
What can I tell you?
Yeah.
It's noon, right? High noon.
It is. As we record this, it is high noon on the West Coast.
And I'm in California. You are in Oregon.
On the beautiful Oregon coast. And this is one of the few cool spots in the entire country right now. But don't pack your bags and come here, because we don't have room. And if you do come, you know, you're not going to find an affordable place to live, but it is a fabulous place to visit.
Well, I'd like to live there, but I'm an old Jew, and the law is old Jews can only move to Florida.
But I thought that was repealed because of hurricane season.
Some genius said that on Facebook.
I think I know the guy.
I think I know. You probably know him better than I know him.
Oh, sir. Well, we could talk about a lot of things, but
a lot of things. Let's talk about whatever floats your boat. You're the hostess.
Yeah. Well, actually, I do have a topic in mind, something when you and I have talked before. I don't remember whether it was your show or my show, but that really doesn't matter. But it's an interesting topic, so it'll be an old topic with a brand new wrinkle, and that is cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's been a revolution in this country in recent years, I think, over understanding, usage, and acceptance of cannabis for both medicinal and recreational purposes. But I think that's a change still in the works. But you have started up something that I'd like this to be the jumping off point here. You tell us about, you've started a cannabis barter club, is that correct?
Well, it is indeed. What I'm trying to do is get the people that are servers, provide services and goods on whatever level, and get a list of those people who would accept cannabis as barter in return for partial payment, partial or full payment for goods and services. And I would like to, for the cannabis community where I live in Alameda, I've decided to go no further than to make a comprehensive list, come up with a comprehensive list, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, so to speak, and find folks who I could easily connect for simplicity, who would accept payment and have the buyer negotiate with the provider based on however negotiation goes. So a part of the payment, full payment, this, that, or the other thing. Now, I'm just going to leave it at that. Who provides the cannabis for payment? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. The group is not really going to be a group. It's just going to be folks that get together and want to use my resources, which is the compilation of a comprehensive list of folks who are negotiable. Now, what they do with the negotiations is none of my business. And it's not for profit. On my part, it's something that I'd like to do for the cannabis community, which locally in Alameda, in the East Bay part of Northern California, has become strong and a wonderful group of people that deserve to have life made easier by the legalization of said herb.
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea for a whole lot of reasons. And can I ask you this, Ralph? Is this an original concept of your own, or did you adopt it or adapt it from somebody else?
It came right out of my head. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, well,
anything like that. Barter was a big thing in the 70s. I don't know if they were starting barter clubs and this, that, and the other thing. It had to be made illegal because people weren't paying taxes, pure and simple. But the idea was always a good one, and I've always been, all these years, in the cannabis community. And that's what we do. Basically, informally, we exchange cannabis for goods and services, one way or the other, but might as well do it with some sort of formality where now I know that there are people that are not going to be open to this, and that doesn't matter, because there are people that are going to be open to this. And we won't be breaking any laws by providing a list of people who want to do this and would agree to it. We would enrich their lives. We wouldn't be, and certainly, again, the user of cannabis has always had a hard time in our society. And now that it's become legal purely for the profit of the man, that they didn't want to legalize it, but they want the proceeds of the tax dollars and this, that, and the other thing. That's fine, but it really doesn't do anything for the long-time user, but boost the price, inflated prices because of things like not only the taxes, but the testing, the labs, and then the labs, again, have been faulty. So the long-time user who is really not benefiting from legalization should be given a break. And I'm all for giving a bunch of potheads a break, fellow potheads a break. And that's what I'm about from that level.
Well, I think it's a fabulous idea for some of the reasons you've discussed and more. So let me just kind of wrap my mind around how this might work, because somebody is in my neighbor's yard, a professional trimming a tree. Say I'm a tree trimmer, and I go on this list, and I find somebody who is offering cannabis in a barter exchange. I might offer...
No.
No, not that.
Be on a list that if you were a tree trimmer, you would be on a list of people that provide, who are providers. They will come to you, and the people will come to you.
Yeah.
And if they're in need of it, if they know that you're a tree trimmer and you list your qualifications on the site, the people, and that you are open to accepting partial or full payment, this, that, and the other thing.
Exactly.
They will come
cannabis
to you.
Rather
you are
than
not
cash.
going to be looking for people as a tree trimmer. You're not going to be asking people, prospective customers, whether they have pot to give you. No,
right,
it's the other way around.
I got it. Yeah. So I, as a tree trimmer, put my name on this list and say I am at least open to the idea of accepting partial or full payment in cannabis rather than in cash. And if the connection is made, all to the good.
See, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a website, and I'm going to provide a page for all the people, anonymous. Their names will be anonymous, so they won't get any unintentional bad will. You know how the world works.
Yep.
Okay.
Certainly.
They would be on a group, and I would have a group of people who subscribe to the service that I provide, which is getting people together. So they would be able to go into the website and look for whatever service and the tree trimmer was a good example, because it really came together when we were putting our backyard together, Tally and I. The idea came together for that. Of course, anybody that exchanges goods and service, perfect example. And the people would subscribe to it, and they'd be able to go into the website, and they'd be able to pick out a doctor or a lawyer or a candlestick maker, like I say, anybody, and then they call the person and they say, I understand. They'd get in touch with the person on the site, and then and only then would the provider respond. Does that make it a little more clear?
It does. It really does. So that, it basically sounds like it's set up in a way that provides safety for everybody, which is a good thing.
Absolutely. And that's what I think would work anywhere, in any community. I'm keeping it to the city that I live in, Alameda. It's an island off Oakland, which is the East Bay, adjacent to San Francisco. And I'm excited about the idea, and I'm glad you gave me the chance to voice it on the air.
Yes, well, you are welcome. And I would like to dig into this a little bit further, though. As you mentioned, barter and, just in general, kind of saw a resurgence in the 70s, I think. But, of course, in the days long before, we had this metal or paper stuff that the government blessed as money. This is how the original economies worked. And to go back to that, I think, even on a small scale, I think is a very good thing because, again, as we've discussed in previous conversations, my day job is a county commissioner in a small county here in the Oregon coast, and the state of Oregon is the one who is regulated, legalized, both medicinal and then more recently recreational use of cannabis. It has been left up to local governments to regulate essentially where within our borders it can be produced, where it can be processed, and where it can be sold at the retail level. But I remember a couple of years ago talking to somebody who was in the business, and they were thriving in one of the local shops right now, but he told me his biggest fear was, in just about every industry there is opportunity for moms and pops in the beginning, but just the way our modern economy works in the United States especially is, that bigness is rewarded, volume in processing, volume in distribution, and he was fearing that, the little guy was going to get squeezed out pretty quickly, and with that would go some really awful profiteering. Thoughts on that, sir?
Right. Well, my thought is that in a world that is absolutely moralless, starting from the president on down. My thought is that if one industry should be kept pure, it's the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could go back to the way it was in the 60s, where marijuana was bartered, we gave it to our friends, we shared it with our friends, and it was a spirit of sharing and love. It only became a business when it was outlawed. It was prohibition. And people, for smoking a joint, maybe not in California, but in Texas, there are still people in jail for smoking a joint way back then. There was
ridiculous.
There has been an inordinate amount of money spent on the drug war, not just marijuana, but heroin, speed, everything. And it's still being spent, and it's still the scofflaws are still beating the system. So I have an overall idea that if you legalize and prescribe all of it, it takes all of the ganoffs out of it, all of the crooks out of it. And why they don't do that is absolutely evident. It's because Congress people are controlled by the drug companies.
Yep.
So they're not going to let that happen. They fight it tooth and nail because they take lobbyist money for untold amount of money, amount of dollars. People in control and on all levels, not just the drugs. They take money in from the NRA. They take money in from the banks. There is no end to the greed in politics, and that is what controls what's legal, what isn't legal, what goes, what doesn't go. In California, there is roughly half of the people being provided by legal drugs are being provided under the table, scofflaw. The clubs have limited things, and they can be beat in price by so much that it encourages people to deal under the table. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to break the law, but California said we can legally grow 6 plants in our house per, 6 plants all told.
Okay.
Not per patient or whatever. That provides a lot of boo. If you
yes,
know what
indeed.
I mean.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Why break the law? Why? I'm not trying to get rich out of marijuana. I'm just trying to smoke free, basically. How about that?
Doesn't seem...
And have my friends smoke free, and have my needs met. All of my needs met as an exchange for said boo. Now, to expand that is going to raise some eyebrows. So I choose not to expand it. I just choose to make a list, provide a list for people, and if they want to get together with me to broker any of this stuff, they can. But that's my point in it. But I just want everything to go back to what it was, the spirit of the summer of love. When it comes
Amen.
To and I'm not looking for anything more, and I resent government intrusion all these years, and to reverse it and to make a profit out of it. Whoa. That Gall's an old guy who's been smoking for a long time. Before it was medical. It was just to catch a buzz. And guess what? It still is. And the fact that it's all medicinal because it's all for your head, but the fact that it is causing reversal in cancer and glaucoma and all of these things, that's a plus. It's designed for your head. So anything that one gets out of it medicinally, wow, what a bonus. I chose the right thing to go into 40 years ago. It didn't affect my lungs like they say it would. I still have stamina. I'm 72 years old. Inadvertently, I don't have glaucoma. So it's been good. I want it to be good for everybody around me, but I don't want the government to make a business out of it. So
just one more thought on the profiteering and to underscore the points you're making so eloquently. You know, we have a chain of grocery, drug, and variety stores up here in the Northwest called Fred Meyer, and they are part of the Kroger empire. And I'm going to say just in the last 4 to 6 weeks, one day I walked into the pharmacy at the local Freddy's here in River City on the Oregon coast, and here was a whole display of CBD products, creams, tinctures, oils, and retailing between $25 and $50 for what looked to be very, very small portions. So, the profiteers are here.
And it saddens me because we're entitled to more as humans. We're entitled to more. That's all.
Yep.
Just the basics. So, any questions about it, you can email me. I'm at z.zagman@yahoo.com. And I'm available. So, there you go.
And also, folks who are on Facebook can look you up there, Ralph Tyko, I assume, and make connections on how to find out more about this. Well, Ralph, since we are approaching the 30-minute mark, I want to, kind of bring it home. But first I want to say thank you for your friendship all these years. Thank you for inviting me onto the network. And then for a variety of reasons, I was kind of on a summer hiatus, but I'm glad to be back. And this is a great program to kick off the new run of Claire's Corner. But also, we're going to be introducing soon, maybe as soon as the next program, I'm not sure, but I'm going to have a sometimes co-host, a good friend of yours and mine, Gabriel Schechter, who is the author of several books on the great game of baseball. Used to work at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, as a library research assistant for anybody with a true passion for baseball. I can't imagine more of a dream job, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Gabriel is also a very smart, very funny, and very well-read guy. I mean, he has helped introduce me to some wonderful authors and just a fun guy, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun in the weeks and months and years ahead.
Oh, I am so proud to have you on the network. Both you and Gabriel have been great friends of mine, and you're terrific. So thank you again, Claire.
Okay, so let's get you up to Oregon one of these days, so maybe we can all have lunch together.
Or you down to California. You could afford to swim it. You're a big guy.
Okay, one way or the other. Okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You got me. Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Ralph Tyko, our guest today on Claire's Corner on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Tune in. Not only is the entire archive of my programs, but all the shows on this great network available with just a click or two of the mouse, but you'll be able to keep following us as the weeks roll by.
Go to YouTube and punch in Comfortably Zoned and whatever you want. We have 2,000 offerings, 2,000 plus offerings archived on YouTube. It's the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and you are a mainstay, Claire Hall.
Thank you, Ralph Tyko, and until we meet again, happy trails to you all.
Adios, everybody. The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned Network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.